It's outrageous. Rubiales should never work in football again. He's an absolute danger to an organisation if this is how he behaves in a situation like this.
Let's talk about Luis Rubiales. Now, last Sunday, I'm sure everyone's aware of this, but last Sunday, of course, Spain won the Women's World Cup for the first time in their history. And since then, a scandal has engulfed the entirety of Spanish football, incredibly, because of the actions of the Football Federation's president, Luis Rubiales. Now, he kissed Spain forward Jenni Hermoso on the lips during the presentation ceremony as the players collected their medals. I'm sure everybody's seen this. He claimed it was consensual, but Hermoso has denied she consented to the kiss. And on Friday, Rubiales refused to resign at a Federation Assembly and gave quite a mad speech.
It was mad.
I mean,
it was absolutely
came
insane.
out fighting.
Yeah, indeed. And now 80 Spanish players have refused to play for the national team until changes are made to the Federation's leadership and the entire coaching staff of the Spanish women's national team, apart from manager Jorge Vilda, have resigned.
Read the room, mate.
Yeah. This is an incredible situation, Jim.
It is, isn't it? I mean, it shows that some people will deny reality rather than confront and admit the flaws in their behaviour.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
essentially an attempt to gaslight the public. I mean, his delusions are spectacular.
Yeah.
He's talking about how it was consensual. It was this. It was that. We all saw it.
Yeah.
It clearly wasn't. There's this talk of how he's claiming that she picked him up. And then that proves that it was all jovial and consensual. And like she's denying that she picked him up, even if she did pick him up.
Yeah.
One action doesn't then become
That's
consent for another action.
Yeah.
It's absolutely astonishing, really. And the Spanish Federation, it is an absolute textbook example of toxicity in this sort of environment. Any organisation around the world who can recognise this within their own should use it as an example of how to sort of root out this sort of problem, because it is. I mean, it's outrageous. Rubiales should never work in football again. He's an absolute danger to an organisation if this is how he behaves in a situation like this, particularly when he's called out on it. There's a lot of different stuff that's been said about his behaviour in the past, and it is just shocking and scandalous that Jenni Hermoso is claiming that they made up a statement on her behalf.
I mean, I find this. So there will be some people who have maybe not read up on this and seen too much about it, and they just say, and they all they'll perhaps know is the Spanish team have won the World Cup. They go along, and he does this, and suddenly all this is why are we hearing this guy in the news and so on and so forth. It was an over exuberant celebration. Blimey, there's a lot being made about this. But Luke, I think that and the funny thing is what Rubiales doesn't realise is if we didn't know he was a dickhead, which it suggests seems to be.
We kind of did already.
Yeah, but a lot of people wouldn't know who he bloody was.
No, exactly.
He's very much publicised the fact that he is a dickhead, because actually what he could have done, not excusing the behaviour, was go, I'm so sorry about that. We just won the World Cup. I was so happy. That was ridiculous of me to do that. Very, very sorry. Sorry that I've taken any attention away from the women. Well done to them, and I'll learn from this. Never do it again, or whatever.
I think he had a path available to him immediately after it happened to say, sorry about that. Exactly what you just said there. As a result, I'll be tendering my resignation. It wasn't acceptable. It wasn't appropriate. That's really the least he could do. Because to me here, there's like a few things at play. One is the rank kind of sexism and invasion of another human being's personal space, and the kind of behaviour which is clearly unacceptable. Anywhere in society at the moment.
And didn't he grab his crotch and he was all
He was doing it was a macho display generally.
Yeah.
The second thing is just the rank arrogance to kind of be almost offended himself, even though his behaviour is the thing, it's the sole responsibility of what's happened. And the third thing is, I don't want to diminish Jenni Hermoso's experiences and see her sidelined, because clearly she's the victim here. She needs to be supported, and whatever she says, her statement I thought was very articulate and really summed it up perfectly. And that's what should be, the kind of the text for where we develop all this stuff from, the core text, if you like. But it also affects so many other people, because ultimately what's being talked about here is just this, and not the fact that for the first time in their history they've won the World Cup, which is an incredible thing. They've worked so hard to achieve it, and the fact this overpowers the whole thing is really, really regrettable. And his behaviour since this has happened, I completely agree with Jim. I think, you've got to be very careful in society, not giving people an opportunity to make up for the things they've done wrong and give people a second chance, all the rest of it. And I don't think in this case, that's obviously for us to judge.
Yeah.
But I just think the way he's behaved since this has happened
and that's it
completely rules the whole thing out. This talk of him putting women in the front row of his speech to show support for him, it's basically the behaviour of like an authoritarian, like tin pot dictator.
I completely agree with you. Yeah,
it's abusive.
It's massively abusive behaviour. It's gaslighting the public,
abusive,
as you said,
manipulative,
and every second he remains in that role is a further embarrassment to the sport, to the country of Spain, to the group of players that have to play under him, whatever level they're playing at. It's a shambles, and it needs to stop as soon as possible. I'm hoping by the time this episode comes out, we might have seen a bit more of a development in the story, if not today, hopefully by the end of the week. The only path forward for him is to not be in that job. He's been suspended by FIFA. He's been the Spanish FA have activated a what they call a sexual violence protocol. I don't really know what that involves necessarily, but they've done that anyway. But they're still, on one hand, the Spanish Football Federation is still saying that we're going to take legal action over Jenni Hermoso, which is completely
again threatening, abusive behaviour,
manipulative,
and I think that's it. Like again, I sort of say to those who don't know much about this and so on that if you are just thinking, well, it was an over exuberant celebration, he shouldn't have done it. Again, just look at the way the man's reacted. He's now drawing in innocent people, shoving the blame on them, and you know what people will be like, the comments online and all the rest of it. And again, like you've both said, his behaviour paints the picture.
Exactly.
You literally let him do the talking and you'll come to your own conclusion very, very quickly. And if FIFA are having to step in, not exactly an organisation who have shown themselves to be particularly good on anything, especially these kind of issues, even they've was it a suspension? Was it?
It's a suspension pending an investigation. I think it's a general kind of protocol, like 90 days or something to investigate it. Yeah.
So I mean, with 80 female players refusing to play for the national team, obviously that's really, really powerful. A few male players have come out and condemned him. Hector Bellerin, Borja Iglesias, who said he won't play for the national team again. I think what will hopefully come next is more and more male players standing in solidarity with Jenni Hermoso and the women's national team, because it affects everybody.
Yeah.
Cheers for watching another fantastic clip from the Football Ramble podcast. Make sure you click like on this video and subscribe to the channel, which means you will not miss a single upload.